Our final exercise combines stepping with the arm movements. Now this particular type of stepping is, no pun intended, a step above the previous type, in that we are going to do what I call a crescent step. The crescent step comes from a wuji width stance. That means about shoulder width apart. Sometimes it can be done even wider and is done wider when doing some of the more dynamic postures in the Tai Chi form. But this crescent stepping, in the same way that the arms extend up and out, or in and down, in a circular pattern, so does the step, so that we draw into center and extend away from center, continuing this idea of yang extension and yin retraction. Also, we put the arms together with this stepping, our rolling arms pattern, which is this pattern coming in, whether we're moving forward or backward. You can pair other silk reeling exercises of the arms with the steps, but some of them are a little bit more difficult and advanced to pair it with. And I simply find that the rolling arm stepping seems to be the easiest one to get a hold of. Beginning, the crescent step begins with our wuji posture. As with everything else, we have to maintain this posture, this relaxation, this observation of mind, and the fullness of awareness throughout our entire body. Not to mention the qigong breath that allows us to have that. Just like with pouring water, I'm going to sink into one leg. But instead of just doing that with the feet parallel, I'm going to turn my right toes out. My right foot being the foot that I'm planning on putting my weight into first. I'm going to rotate my dantian towards my right foot as I pour the water over. Once the left foot is empty, I'm going to draw it in. As a remedial step, you can place the foot down, but on the balls of the feet, so that you can have some weight and balance in that foot, sort of like training wheels. Then I'm going to step forward and out in a crescent shape or a quarter circle movement. Sinking down into the right leg, I then turn my dantian in towards the left leg. Sinking into the left leg until all my water is poured there and beginning to pick up the right, I draw the right up to center, and then again, crescent step out. So here's that crescent movement where the step gets its name. It goes from the center, remember my vertical axis, where the foot, knee, head, and the rest of my right side is located at the moment. And then I extend it forward and out back to shoulder width. I don't want to step wider than shoulder width because that can draw me off balance. And it takes a good bit of practice and strength to be able to take those wide steps that we sometimes do in the Tai Chi form. So I'm going to step out to shoulder width, place the heel down, but the foot is mostly empty. There's a little bit of passive weight shift here, but most of my weight is still on the left leg. I then place the right foot down, turn slightly back towards my left leg in dantian circular rotation. If you remember this circle, I'll show you that that's the circle we're making. I turn back, sink down, and pour my water into my right leg. As I do that, I may turn my toes out slightly as I rotate my dantian horizontally. Sinking and shifting and pouring my water into the right leg until it's all there, my low back is real relaxed. And remember, I keep my hip back so that I don't put energy into my knee. Come in, crescent out to shoulder width. Now, I did mention that I turn back, but the truth is that's a passive action. As I set this foot down, as long as I keep Qi Chong at the inguinal crease really relaxed, and as long as I keep Zhang Men and the waistline relaxed, and I let my pelvis settle evenly, naturally as I set the foot down and begin to pour, this hip is going to sink down and my body will turn. So the truth is a lot of the times the dantian rotation is even slightly passive. I sink, turn, and like I said, as I begin to rotate my dantian to my left toes may turn out just a couple of inches to make it easier for me to shift. And as I begin to continue to turn, you'll notice that my right toes sometimes will turn in with me. It's not absolutely necessary, but it's a detail that may end up helping you. Once again, a couple of steps in a row now. Turn my toes out and shift, sink. Step with a crescent step empty, sink down by placing the foot down, maybe toeing out slightly, maybe toeing in slightly, step. I want to make sure I get all of my weight, my substance, my balance, all of my water, as we've said, into a certain leg before I take a step. That was the crescent stepping. Now we're going to put that together with our rolling arms pattern. I'm going to set the camera a little bit further away and start from the end of the room so you can see it. Then I'll try to break down a little bit for you how we coordinate these things together. That's a difficult coordination of movement, and as a matter of fact, it's one that's found often in the Tai Chi form. So if it's something that feels a little bit advanced and you're not ready for it yet, continue to practice the other exercises as solo exercises, including the silk reeling pattern of the arms, particularly the rolling pattern, and the crescent stepping.